G'day beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at my Dekker deck for Dekker. Obviously this is Dekker and this is my Dekker deck. So this might be, as with all of the build guides that come after one of my A to Z videos, it's probably going to be a bit different to what I showed in, or what I used in that video, but this is how I generally run her on my main. It's a little bit weird, but I like it. It works pretty well. Okay, so what we have in the way of cards are Lamplighter, obvious card for a support. Comes from the Order Affinity. Obviously this is Order and Knowledge. With the way the game is right now, with the 2v2 lane. You're in a 2v2 lane now. It's not the old school where you had an offlaner against you and your carry. You can't just leave your carry over there by himself, so do not wait for Lamplighter. Do not stay and wait for Lamplighter. You're leaving them in a 1v2 and that's not a good situation. So grab this a little bit later. Then we have Rejuvenator. It's you're gonna gain 16 health regen and 13 mana regen for 10 seconds. You can get 2 charges. And then my first card, which is Font of Experience. So this is what I start the game with, just to get my abilities quicker so that I can do more for my team. Then we have Radiant Healer. That is normally the next card that I actually grab. Obviously, I'm actually grabbing Lamplighters as well, but I go 3 into Intellect, and I go for Radiant Healer. It just allows me to keep my carry at full health if need be. Then we have Brilliant Fortification. I don't tend to use it very often. It's definitely not a staple part of my build. Like, it's not always on my build, but it's there just in case you know, they're pushing it in here, but I can back and I can use that. Then we have Protective Sentry. I normally put this on probably as my next card, really. I'll go for this, so I'll end up with 5 Intellect and 2 Vitality. And then I'll start going more into Intellect again. But yeah, I grab that, and then I think Lamplight is better, but it's a waste of money to keep grabbing it. So we have Protective Sentry. It's going to allow you to put a ward down every 65 seconds. Towards the end of the game, when there's a lot of structures missing on the board, say the enemy team just has inhibs, you just have inhibs, I don't tend to use my wards as much. So I consider getting rid of them, especially if my carry's playing pretty well. Then we have Gates of Salvation. It's an Elevate card that I sometimes screw around with. It's not worthwhile running as your only card for Elevate, but the 80% mana regen and the 25 ability armor and just the passive on its own does warrant actually taking this card, so it's worthwhile giving it a shot. I've just actually realized that this build is incorrect because I chucked Static Trap on to be a nonce. It's actually supposed to have, where is she? Formal Rubbish. I obviously did not save that last time I did it. So then next up we have Wetware Virus, 100% mana regen, 18 ability armor. So you see, these cards don't tend to look like they'll be great for a support, and that's a loud bird. But the mana regen and the ability armor just on their own are very, very good. So with this card, for 45 mana, every 50 seconds you can reduce the target enemy hero's attack speed by 50 and basic damage by 50. In a 2v2 support v support, this can help your carry win a lot of fights. It's a very, very good card. Then we have Sleeper Agent. I definitely go for this card. Being able to silence someone and have them take 15% increased damage while your carry is there is huge. And then we have Yomi Guardian. Power, max health, basic armor. Nearby ally heroes gain 100% chance to block 100 basic damage for 8 seconds. Okay, so they are going to block 100 basic damage from every basic attack that comes their way for 8 seconds. That is pretty huge. It's got a 55-second cooldown, it costs 80 mana, but it's not a bad card to give a go. I don't tend to use it that often, but it is there. Then we have Domain of Stillness. It's a stasis card for everyone. I'm not sure why it works for both teams. I think it's really dumb. I don't tend to use it very often, but I keep it there just in case. It gives you a good amount of mana regen, max mana and power. It's good just to have in your build, but if you want to, you could actually just replace this for something like Godmother Vigilant if you wanted to. And then we have Form of Grubbish. Morph the target enemy into a bug for 3 seconds. So what I do with this build, let's just put it out there that you should always have wards because you're a support, because that's what everyone says. Protective Sentry with Sleeper Agent and Form of Grubbish. That is going to take you to 25 intellect spent and 2 vitality. It gives you, that means that you have your stun, your Sleeper Agent silence, and your Form of Grubbish. And if you stun someone, when they're about to come out of the stun, hit them with Sleeper Agent, so they can't use any abilities and they take increased damage, and then if they're still alive, hit them with Form of Grubbish. And then when that's about to wear off, if they're still alive and you have an Onslaught gem on, you can then stun them again. Because they have been turned into a bug for 3 seconds, they have been silenced for 3 seconds, and they've been stunned for, I think, 2 seconds on Dekker's Stasis Bomb at max level. I might be wrong. So, you know, it's about 8 seconds. So you will have your stun pretty close to off cooldown by then. It's a very, very good build, but you can definitely, if you want to, you know, any one of these cards replace for Wetware Virus. If you think it's a little bit too expensive, getting into 25 intellect, which it definitely can be running as a support, maybe give up Form of Grubbish, take Sleeper Agent, Wetware Virus, and Protective Sentry. If you still think that's too expensive, you could just go for Protective Sentry, Wetware Virus, and perhaps, who knows, maybe just go for Yomi Guardian. That would be a good bet. That's going to give you a good amount of basic armor right there. So as far as gems go, we have none in agility, obviously. In vitality, I take healing towers, just because if something goes down, it's good to allow your carry to back and when they need it back and be able to sustain a little bit there in lane. We take damage reduction and damage return. That means you're going to take 10% less damage and you're going to return 10% of basic damage. If you wanted to, I mean, you could get rid of one of these, you know, if you felt like you were going to go far enough, and you replace it with whatever. But I tend to think that, where the hell did you go? That damage return is a decent option for a support. Then we have Onslaught. So you're going to reduce cooldowns by 0.2 seconds when you land a basic attack. Like I said before, with the stun and Sleeper Agent and Form of Grubbish, that gives you around about 8 seconds of time to just wail into that enemy, and you're probably going to get off, I don't know, you're going to at least get off 8 attacks, maybe 10, so that's going to be 2 seconds taken off of your stun. I don't actually run a tier 7, is it 7? Is it 7? I think it's 7. Gem. I run Mana Fountain at slot 13, and then Spell Shield, just because Spell Shield is a really good option to have as a support, not to be able to get stunned. So that is my build. It is called a Dekker deck because it's Dekker's deck. So give it a go. Let me know what you think. If you like it, smash the like button. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you went with it. If you use it, or if you have any suggestions on how to make it better, please leave them in the comment section. With that said, subscribe if you're not already, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I love your face, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.